Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most underrated but super powerful features in CSS Grid, the subgrid. If you've ever worked with nested grids and got frustrated because things just didn't align properly, Subgrid is the fix you've been waiting for. The problem without Subgrid. Let's imagine this. You have a parent grid with 3 equal columns. Inside one of those columns, you want another grid, maybe to arrange text and buttons. Normally, when you create a nested grid, it doesn't respect the parent's columns. It creates its own columns, and that breaks the alignment. So your text and buttons don't line up with the other columns in the parent grid. It looks messy and inconsistent. What Subgrid does. This is where Subgrid saves the day. By using grid template columns, subgrid or grid template rows, Subgrid, you're telling the child grid, hey, don't make your own tracks, just use the parent's tracks. This way, your nested elements automatically align with the parent grid, keeping everything neat and professional. Example walkthrough. Alright, let's break down what's happening in this example with Subgrid. We start with a parent grid that has 4 equal columns. Each child element in this grid is just a simple card, and they all flow nicely across those 4 tracks. Now, inside this grid, I've added a nested section. By default, if I turn this nested section into a grid and give it something like grid template columns, 1FR 1FR, it will completely ignore the parent's column structure. Instead, it just makes 2 equal columns of its own. The problem is that these inner columns don't line up with the parent grid's columns. So visually, things start to feel a little misaligned. This is exactly the situation where Subgrid comes in. When I replace that 1FR1FR with grid template columns, Subgrid, I'm telling this nested grid, don't invent your own columns, just reuse the ones defined by the parent. And the result? The items inside the nested grid now snap perfectly to the parent's column track. Instead of floating around with their own sizing, they align neatly with the rest of the layout. This might seem like a small detail, but in practice it's a huge win for design consistency. Imagine building product cards, blog posts, or dashboards where you have nested grids for images, text, and buttons. Without Subgrid, every nested piece risks drifting out of alignment. With Subgrid, everything shares the same structure, so the whole page looks unified. That's why Subgrid is such a powerful addition to CSS Grid. It solves one of the biggest headaches with nested layouts and helps us keep our designs clean, consistent, and professional. Extra tip. A cool thing is, you don't have to inherit both rows and columns. You can choose just rows, just columns, or both, depending on your layout needs. Browser support. Now here's the catch. Subgrid is fully supported in Chrome and Edge right now. In Firefox and Safari, it's still experimental, but progress is happening. If you're building something for production, check the compatibility or use it with fallbacks. But for learning and future-proof layouts, it's worth practicing today. So, to summarize, CSS Subgrid is all about alignment. It makes nested grids line up perfectly with their parent without extra code. It's clean, powerful, and a big step forward in building consistent layout. If this helped you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for more CSS tricks.